So I'll talk about my kind of journey for my kidney journey. So I was a kind of man of adventure. I kind of got to 40, and as you kind of do, you get a bit of a midlife crisis. So there was a few things I wanted to tick off my kind of bucket list. Snowdon was one of them. I'd never been up there, so that was one of the things I ticked off. So hiking was a big thing for me, mountain biking, and running is not my thing, but I actually have done a few Cardiff half marathons and a few 10Ks, etc. as part of the challenge that I set up. So this is me on Glen Catherine, the Lake District, doing my winter skills training, crampons, etc. An absolutely fantastic day. And I've also started doing that time to kind of do my mountain leader course, which was actually being able to guide people across mountains, etc. In 2016, I decided to take on the biggest challenge I've ever done, which was Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. On reflection, it was probably the one that pushed me over the edge on my kidney journey. I actually took the hardest route up to Kili, which is the Western Breach. We actually did the 5th highest mountain in Africa as well, which is Mount Meru. So I actually did that one. But unfortunately, this picture here was the last one on Kili. Excuse me. That is summit camp. Summit day was the following day. I had suffered from altitude sickness from kind of the very start of the journey, to be perfectly honest. So to get as far as I did, I was quite chuffed at. So the height there is higher than Mont Blanc, and as I say, summit day was the next one there. So I didn't particularly enjoy Kilimanjaro, if I'm totally honest, because it was very much like a route march. Whereas me, I enjoy walking, I want to enjoy the views, I want to take pictures, etc. But it was, we've got 1,000 metres of ascent today, let's just head down and go for it. And that's not really mine, but I ticked it off kind of my list, and I've done it. As I say, that was probably the one that pushed me over the edge. It took me months to recover. This was August, September time in 2016. It took me until the beginning of 2017 to recover properly. From then, I was kind of setting personal bests, doing all sorts on the mountain bike, out for just a gentle Sunday ride, and just going up the climb, nothing significant, and my legs, nothing in my legs, absolutely no energy whatsoever. And that carried on for a few months, progressed into kind of food issues. So I wouldn't be able to eat the kind of proper meals that I would normally like, food that I would normally like. All that was a problem. And you kind of wondering what's going on, etc. So got referred to the kidney doctors. Various things going there, iron infusion. So you kind of think, oh well, it's just a lack of iron and stuff. And once I have that, I'll be back up and running again, no problem. Until the day the bomb went off. Kind of Leah touched it on earlier on a little bit. So this was the day, a lovely renal nurse, she rang me up and said, I want to come to the house, have a chat to you. And you sit down and she kind of tells you, well basically your kidneys have failed, you need to have dialysis or you need to have a transplant. Whilst you're taking that in, you're then being discussed about the various options that you may have, whether that be home dialysis, peritoneal or dialysis in the unit. You're just going in one year, going out the other. You have no comprehension at that point of what treatment you would like to go through, because you've just been told your life has changed dramatically. So, as I say, the options you've got, you're not interested at that point. It was really the wrong thing to kind of talk about at that point. So yeah, so that was it. I ended up going into the unit then in Morriston. Fantastic nurses there. Big D was my thing. I used to call dialysis. I do a lot on Twitter, and so that was a thing for me. I'm going into Big D, trying to psych myself up to get myself ready. It's a roller coaster. It's literally is an absolute roller coaster. As I say, the nurses in Morriston were fantastic. But there'd be times where I was in the afternoon shift, there'd be times where I would be an hour and a half before I would be put on the machine. And that's just soul destroying. It really is. One of the other things was, so I had 2 operations to create a fistula, both failed. So I had the third operation. The third operation was creating the fistula here, and then in the afternoon I had to have day surgery to have the line put in so that it could start dialysis straight away. That was a hell of a day, that was, to go through 2 things really. Deformity as well, obviously with the fistula you don't kind of realise what happens to your arm and stuff, and you kind of see these big veins and kind of people start looking at you oddly and you think, well, that's your problem, not mine. That's keeping me alive, so what's the big issue? I'll come back to this a little bit, but kind of goes back to the previous slide really. I started writing, and that was one of the kind of stories I did, and I'm going to share them with Leah as well. But one of the things I picked up on a news thing, so you're still on dialysis, you're on the transplant list, or you're waiting to get on the transplant list, as I was. And I came across this statement. It's like being on an invisible death row. It is. Nobody kind of knows that you were dying and you're on the transplant waiting list. And it is a kind of death row in some respects, and you're totally forgotten about. Nobody really kind of realises you're there. So it's, yeah, it was hard. But I always try and take negatives into positives. So the only thing I missed from the dialysis unit now was toast. The lovely Cynthia at Morrison Hospital is an absolute star. She would make absolutely delicious toast, lovely cup of tea, and that is the only thing I miss from dialysis. But yeah, that's the only thing. One of the other things was, I obviously you're there on the machine for 3-4 hours, whatever it may be, you're bored. You can watch a TV, but that's not me. So I love reading. So I ended up reading 100 books in 1 year because of the time you're on dialysis. But the other thing is get involved with research. So Dr. Chess came to me while I was on dialysis and about his bistro trial. So I'm happy to get involved with that if it means making a difference to people, being part of a research project, then fine, not an issue. So I was involved with that. I was back to him yesterday in clinic about getting involved with the patient group project that he's looking at. So I'm more than happy to kind of do that. One of the other things I started to look at was, right, okay, well, I'm in this situation where I'm out of work at the moment, or I was working from home. I had a national UK role, so being completely exhausted, there's no way I was going to be able to travel as I was. So I was working from home a lot of the time, sometimes working in dialysis. And I thought, right, okay, well, I want to try and learn something kind of new now, and when I'm back in the work zones, I'll have new skills, new opportunities to get involved with perhaps doing something different. So I started looking at Winston Churchill Memorial Trust. I don't know if anyone knows about that, but it's a kind of travel fellowship. So there are various topics that you can get involved with research for, health being one of them. So you identify what you want to kind of do, and then what countries in the world you would like to kind of see where best practice is. And then they kind of pay for you to kind of go there, you have a research project, you come back to the UK, and that's kind of implemented back within the UK. So that was one of the things I was starting to look at. As I say, I started writing. It was quite cathartic to start writing some of my experiences down. So the Abyss story was one of them. It's actually about that day when the renal nurse came. I'm sure everyone's kind of heard about the 500 words thing that Chris Evans used to do on BBC Radio 2. It's for kids, but I thought, well, 500 words is quite an easy thing to kind of do. So I started writing. So I did a couple of boards around my kidney experience, and as I say, I'll share them with Leah. And then again, I'm sat on dialysis. You don't know how long you're going to be off. Right, I want to learn these new skills. I decided to start a PhD, which seemed a fantastically great idea when I was on dialysis with all that time that I had. Now that I'm back in full-time work, I'm kind of thinking, what the hell have I done? But I am where I am, and I'm carrying on with that now. So yeah, interested. But for me, as I say, today's been really fantastic, kind of seeing what all the research is going on, and I think it is so important and stuff. So, all, you know, congratulations to everyone who. If I try on this one, you have to forgive me. So Jeff, what a hero. He's my friend. We talk about social media being quite a negative thing, especially with Brexit and all that sort of stuff that's going on. For me, it's been a positive experience. So I knew Jeff through just walking, etc. So we've been out quite a few walks at the Peak District, camping, etc., etc. An absolute hero. Out the middle of nowhere in 2018, when I was on dialysis, he messaged me, said, I want to donate. I'm thinking, oh, okay, right. I'm thinking he wants to think he's going to donate. So I said, well, here's the NHS website, here's a bit of information, blah, blah, blah. No, he said, no, I'm doing it. I've already started, I've had a blood test, we're going to do it. Wow, incredible. At that time then, it all got a bit, for about a month it got postponed a little bit because he was then setting off to cycle from Calais to Nice. So he's quite a fit guy, and I'd like to think I've got quite a good kidney now within me. So yeah, absolute hero. So that was the middle of 2018, and then February 2019 I had my transplant, and last Wednesday I celebrated my first kidney anniversary. And yesterday when I was in clinic, I've had the best ever results I've ever had in terms of blood, so you know, win-win. So yeah, an absolute star. We couldn't speak months after the transplant because if I'd rung him, I'd be crying my eyes out. And I said that to him. I messaged him. I said, look, you know, I don't think I'm not ignoring you, but I just can't speak to you. He said, yeah, don't worry. I feel exactly the same thing. But yeah, so yeah, I'm back. So one of my things I wanted to do, just to say that I was back, was pen a van. I want to get back at the top of that. I've ticked that off now. I don't want to be anywhere near it anymore because it's just ridiculous up there. I've started back mountain biking again. I'm hoping to do a mountain bike challenge this year with Jeff, hopefully, to raise a bit of money for kidney bales, etc. And well, hopefully the transplant unit. And this is me and Jeff. So we recreated the first ever walk that we did, which is I can't remember the name now, on the Peak District. The first ever walk we ever did together, we recreated that. I actually felt fitter that time than I did when it was back in, I don't know, 2015, 2016, so it was amazing really. And when I pulled up outside Chrissy's his wife house, he opened the door and it was floods of tears. There was no way that was gonna happen, but absolute star. So yeah, I'm kind of back. For me now, I'm lucky, I've had a transplant. There are many other people who have not had that opportunity and experience to go through. It is a life-changing experience. As I say, I say thank you to Jeff every time I speak to him. It means nothing. Those words are absolutely meaningless because I can't express how much it means. So yeah, so for me, it's about giving back to the community to raise funds. So I got involved with Kidney Wales quite quickly after my transplant. I did the Walk of Life in Boot Park. This is me with a medal. First medal I've had for quite a few years actually, so ever since I kind of stopped physical exercise. I'm also with Paul Popham Fund as one of their befrienders. And for me it's so vitally important to try and help other kidney patients now. One of the things I am passionate about just in general now, as I say, the first signs for me was when I was mountain biking. I didn't have that energy to do that, and I had no understanding whatsoever that the kidney was related to why I was experiencing the problems I was experiencing. I think everyone just takes it as being, oh, your kidneys are there to make you pee, and that's it. There's far more than that. So I am passionate about raising awareness just of kidney health in general. You know, not just for kidney patients, but just general population. I talk about it in work on a regular basis. Yeah, you know, just look after. I mean, I was I looked after, you know, I was doing a lot of exercise, I didn't drink a great deal, looked out for what I was eating, so you could say I wasn't really the prime candidate then to become chronic kidney disease. As if it's not bad enough having chronic kidney disease, I've actually got 2 chronic diseases, 3 if you include asthma, but part of my problem started with Crohn's disease. It's on one of the earlier presentations, there was something about inflammatory bowel disease. So yeah, I had 2 bowel resections over a period of time, and the last one meant that I was more prone to absorb oxalate, which then caused loads of kidney stones in both kidneys over a period of years. So there was a consequence of me going through that experience. But yeah, I'm all for raising awareness, particularly organ donation, mental health as well. Going back to the time, and I'm more than happy to talk about it, is when you're on kind of dialysis, you have no idea when that is going to end. You have literally no idea. You think, well, when am I going to get my life back? The only thing you know is if you stop dialysis, I don't know, within 2 to 3 weeks you'll be dead. And that option was, a couple of times for me, was, yeah, I've had enough. I don't want to carry on. If I do this, all of a sudden my life is back in my control a little bit, because I know then that there's going to be a finality at the end of it. So yeah, I did think that many times. But then you get brought back, your family, your friends. The support I had via Twitter, absolutely incredible. But these people bring you back, and you realise then, yeah, I've got something to fight for you, and you just carry on. Yeah, go back to the education side of it. Just educate people on what kidney health is all about, and try and stop people getting into that situation where they actually go down that route of chronic kidney disease. So I'm passionate about it, and if there's anything I can do to help anyone, I'll be part of that. And I say one of the things I wanted to do with the Winston Churchill Memorial Trust was kind of identify what is good practice for promoting kidney health, because you hear about promoting kidney health when it's prevention, when someone's got chronic kidney disease, but you don't kind of hear it just in general. So that's what I was kind of looking for my project. But as I say, if anyone wants any help in any project and they feel that I can help, then I'm more than happy to get involved, because I'm just so passionate about it now. I'm not going to stop. So I think that's me. Yeah, so thank me for your Any questions for Jamie?
I mean, wow, what a story. Thank you so much for sharing it. That's really inspirational. As well as what your PhD's
It's nothing to do with health, it's to do with automation in the construction sector. Yeah, so.
Maybe we should have a poster next year.
Well, we'll see how we go.
I was very, very jealous of your picture on Duncatherine's film.
Yes, yes, it was a wonderful experience.
It's a really nice mountain.
It is, it was very nice, and to do the witness skills that we were.
Oh, sorry, Sean.
That's all right. Thank you so much for sharing your story. That's really moving. You were clearly very fit when you started dialysis, and it sounds as though you found the fatigue very difficult to manage.
Yeah.
We worry a lot about fitness in dialysis patients, both for general health and well-being, and also for coming up to the stress of a transplant operation.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts about what we could do to help people stay fit when you're also dealing with the fatigue?
Yeah. I mean, that is, without a doubt, that is hard. You know, for me, as I say, I was in Kilimanjaro in 2016. By the end of that year, the following year then, I was just going up the stairs, and I couldn't even climb the open stairs in the house. You know, that's how much it physically changed me. And it is hard then when you are actually on dialysis. You do feel fatigued. I started in the afternoon, but then I went into the morning shift. So by afternoon, I would be totally crashed out. There wouldn't be anything I could do. It is hard because I didn't feel like going out. I almost became a recluse at that point. and that affects both your physical and your mental health side of things, because everything I enjoyed walking, cycling, I couldn't do, I really couldn't do. And I found it really difficult to kind of do that exercise thing, to keep your weight under control as well. It was hard, and yeah, that was one of the things I would kind of want to get involved in if it was possible, because I think that is important, how people exercise during that dialysis session when you are feeling really rough. And that may be because of the options you may have, because I was dialysis in the unit, but obviously I know with home dialysis you have that bigger option of, you know, the amount of cleavage you can get in that time, and I'm bound to feel better from it. But yeah, I think it is difficult. It's how you, and again, when you create that fistula type thing, you've got to look after that so much, because obviously weights and all that sort of stuff is out of it. So I think it is hard to try and how you can exercise during that period. It is really hard.
Did you find friends and family actually appreciated how tired you felt?
So
the amount, you know, the depth of it.
Oh, so I was saying earlier on, so work stuck by me. As I say, I was working from home for the majority of the time, and when I would see my CEO, etc., he would have a chat and say, "Oh, you must be feeling better now after dialysis." I said, "You must be joking. You have no idea." And I say it all the time. For me, all it's doing is keeping you alive. That's all it's doing. It's not a treatment. For me, it wasn't a treatment. It was just keeping me alive. And yeah, no, they have no understanding of what dialysis, what you go through on dialysis. You know, there was times where, depending on how much they're trying to take off you, you know, your blood pressure plummets. You feel absolutely dreadful at that point. You have cramps. Of course, you've got the 2 needles in your arm. You can't go anywhere. You're stuck, and you're in absolute agony on times. And if the dialysis unit is under pressure, you know, they sometimes can't get you in the time that you're on that, you know, and it's, yeah, no, I don't think anyone can really understand what dialysis actually kind of does to your body, really. As I say, I was quite fit when I was going into that kind of situation, so for me to be saying, well, I feel absolutely wrecked from it, it says it really all. So.
Right, thank you. We better move on.